Good morning, good afternoon. I'm just checking if this is going live. It says live 20. Let me just check here. Hmm. Oh, it's working. We're live. Hello. Sorry. Uh, I'm trying to go live on multiple platforms at once. And so therefore it takes a little bit of fiddling to get Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, to all go live at the same time. Welcome, as you are coming in from all parts of the world, from all different platforms. Twitch is also going live. Fantastic. I didn't even know I was on Twitch, but hey, that's good to know. So what we're going to do, and the whole purpose behind this is last 3 days I've been doing NRF key takeaways, and it's been a sort of 5 minute jump into it, go through it, and then when I'm obviously I like to consume content, and I sometimes like to take a deeper dive or just go through it step by step so I understand what's going on. So what I'd like to do in the time that we've got together, and so thank you for number one giving up your time to listen. Uh, Hello, YouTube. Um, I'd like to sort of look at the agenda, break it down day by day, and then go through. Yeah. We go here. Let's make it nice and big so you guys can see it. We'll go like this. So obviously, I've been here a week, and so the event itself has lots of side events, award ceremonies, and then all partners that attend have their own events as well. And there's roughly about 40,000 attendees. So it's a colossal show in itself. But I got to, again, you've seen me, I've got to be honest. Was it too busy on the talks? Yes. If you're going to go around the expo floor, then yes. But the talks, some of them you had to get 20 minutes. You had to get there earlier, 20 to 30 minutes. And then which meant because it's consecutive, right? You know, so every half an hour, 45 minutes, 1 hour, there's a show. And there's two floors in the sort of main keynote shows. And then there's the supplier shows, which are 5 stages, which in the region. It just felt some of them. I mean, who queuing 30 minutes to go, and then missing 15 minutes of your next. It's not in the same hall. I just felt it was a bit tough. I get it's great. I mean, the delegation from Brazil and South America, phenomenal. And I think obviously, if I was a conference maker, I'll probably be thinking about a conference um, in South America because there's obviously an appetite, a thirst for knowledge within retail, and everyone comes to NRF, which which is fantastic. But as I said, you have to prep yourself for 20 minutes before the event starts, which you don't go back to back from all the events you want to go to. This year was the first time as well they had an overspill area, and again, it just I'm coming to an event. Why would I want to? And I was a few times sat outside with headphones watching the screen. I was like, well, I could be at home doing that. I don't need to, fly all the way to the US to doing that. So, what's really great for the podcast community is that Zita Martin, who actually kicked off NRF, is a guest on the show. And next week we'll have that turned around and hopefully out for you guys to hear. There's a few times where I'm uh, stuck for words or stuck for things to say. But Azita and what they're doing at NVIDIA, I think, is beyond the headlines, in the sense that it's not just all this hype, and it's not just, Meta or Microsoft or the big AI players, ChatGPT or Claude or Anthropic, who are providing value. Uh, Companies like NVIDIA are now looking at how they bring use cases to retailers. And one of the, again, I think you may have seen this in some of the news stories, but training robots online in the computer on a digital twin before they even get to the warehouse, the manufacturing site, or customer service point is incredible. And the framework and how they're doing this level of training, you know, hundreds of thousands of minutes faster than having to train in the old world, which means that robots or technology that's going to be doing function or supporting colleagues are going to be, 99.99999% there before they arrive, and then they do that 0.0001 on the job, which it's incredible, the pace of. And when you are sat there listening to what's happening in the industry, it's incredible. So it's a fantastic episode. I say myself, not because of myself, but because of Azita Martin, who's the vice president and general manager at NVIDIA. So that will come next week. We then went on to, and you heard me say, if I was a fan of the people, so again, this is for the retailers in the room, so maybe I am interested in the career path of Pete or Joshua or relationship with each other. Yeah, maybe a keynote to go to, but I'm looking for a little bit more from a keynote. So I was thoroughly disappointed with that one. I just thought it was, I don't know. Anyway, then we go down, and now you can see, and this is what I was saying. So, in terms of the different stages, each stage has a sort of zone of vendors, suppliers around, and so they then bring their best use cases and customers. So we have Boohoo, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, on a taxi through Transcend. So you had all of these sort of brands, H&M, there, IKEA, that would turn up and talk on these stages, but really solution based or outcome based. So if you have a social commerce problem or a CMS problem or a WMS problem, you'll be going to a talk, and the retailer will be there telling you how they solve the problem or the high level takeaways. Yeah, and that's fantastic. I didn't attend many of these sessions, as I can go and learn that stuff elsewhere. I don't need to travel to the US to learn that stuff. The food service innovation hall, you saw me put the pizza, but robotics. And what I noticed is there's like three, like the ecosystems within food services are really coming in together around technology, and I think this showed a um, fantastic sort of bringing together food service innovation for fast food or um, grocers to restaurants. What's happening? So you saw lots of kiosks, lots of robots, lots of shelf labeling, um, and obviously all of these you heard me say peppered with AI. AI outcomes for shrink prevention at the till, AI outcomes for computer vision, for uh, stock, out of stock, lots of different AI use cases, which is fantastic. And so, the suppliers have started, and in the act, I'll cover it when we get to it. So let's keep going through the day. Then basically they stopped the keynotes, and then they started up in the afternoon, and you can see, here like Gen Z to Alpha. I tried getting into that session. It was I had to. That's one of the ones I got really frustrated. I had to go into that side of headphones in. And again, I'll provide a full review. You've heard me keep saying, on retail AI or the LinkedIn page will cover these talks that I did attend, what the key takeaways for them. Too much for now. Uh, and so we where's this one? Okay, I didn't go to this one because there was a focus on people and fantastic, but I didn't go to the Target one. For those of you who know me, we know why you probably didn't go to that one. But anyway, um, then you can see that there was the Macy's, and that's again, I was elsewhere. I came in on this one, on the Foot Locker one, and again, Mary does a phenomenal job of relating to the customers. What do they call them? The folks with the stripy shirts, their colleagues or staff. They have a name, and I can't remember it, but she did a great job of sort of trying to position Foot Locker as an innovator within the industry of footwear apparel with its partners and customers, um, and how they're using technology and AI to change and transform and stay relevant. It was I heard obviously she spoke. I can't remember if it was at this event or another event last year. It was, if you like, version two of the presentation. But the big challenge there with Foot Locker is, it's in pockets. So yeah, they've got it maybe in these 5 or 10 stores, or maybe they've rolled out clienteling to, well, they haven't got clienteling as far as I know, but maybe they've rolled out some technologies globally. But there's these sort of pockets of excellence that she was talking about, but I didn't think on a global scale. And then this was the real one, and maybe this is more telling about me that I'm a technology guy. I love innovation. That Doug Harrington did a phenomenal job at why Amazon is winning and why they continue to win, the culture that they create, and then what and how they're approaching retail. But normally it was I didn't see it as a talk of technology. It talk about culture, failure, and innovation, and how you generate that. So fantastic talk, which brought day one to a close. I wasn't at the happy hour. I went off to the French embassy, as you know, and then we started, and it was a really odd one. And I don't know what the reason behind it, but press were not allowed to take photos or record any of the session for the first session, which Tracy Ellis Ross, phenomenal, authentic lady who uh, I think she'd come from the Los Angeles Flyers, so she had family there or something. So you could tell that she was personally impacted and was very distracted, but she turned up with her authentic self. I don't know who she is, but as you can see, she's an actress and CEO and founder. And so again, what this came about is how minority groups, and she was saying, this is not a black or this ethnic minority group. It's basically people who have hair that is curly or non-traditional what we are used to, because all of the created for, and I would say, strong hair people. Right? So therefore, she was saying, we're not going to be pinned to one ethnic group. We are everyone, but I just thought an incredibly humble, authentic leader. So it was a fantastic overview of how is winning retail and how people who are pivoting in their careers. There was another example that we'll come to, I think, later in the day with Shopify. And then again, very similar to the Burberry talk, we have a retailer here, Tommy Hilfiger, of legend. He was given an award the night before, so he was just going through his process and how they've come together with client, which I thought was telling. Again, humble opinion here. Legacy brands have lost their relevance with their and so therefore they are understanding that they're having to reinvent themselves to stay relevant. And it's here and there. I missed the Best Buy call, talk, and then we go through to the end of the day. And this was again a really good one. Both 81, or don't supplement packets. Cat Cole did a great job of explain. I think one SKU, 650 mil. That one SKU is worth obviously exclusively all sold through Shopify. So Harley was talking to both Kat and Sarah about how and what are they doing to engage. I don't know if I'd come away with insight, but it was interesting to learn about how they're successful. Sarah was obviously um, podcaster, lots of media events, a designer, and I think the favorite daughter as a clothing brand. But what she was talking about is in this new world, retailers and brands have to be multi-format marketing themselves, working with, so I wouldn't be that great favorite daughter, um, but working with a sort of multitude of different media forms to relate and connect with the consumer, which is one of the things I didn't mention and I felt quite bad. Community. So community is a massive element, and I don't know. I think it was just rush, rush, rush. I didn't talk about it, but I've been talking about this for a while. Apologies for saying that, but to make the point, what I'm finding is that some of the things that I'm talking about, or what we're seeing in the wild, is probably maybe um, a year ahead of what we're seeing. For me, but again, I'm a unique case in this. So that's my. If I'm a general retailer, I probably don't listen. I'll be sat there going, "Oh my god, this is really interesting. This is fantastic." New Balance, really good. Again, Joe, it was an odd one because of the structure of New Balance and the ultimately international brand, trying to grow across all channels, remaining relevant to the consumer through engaging through multiple channels, building the community within basketball and all the legacy areas that New Balance are famous for. And it was a good talk. Just looking at the time, and I want to be sensitive to making sure that I've given you, you know, best value for your time. Let me get to Dylan's County Hurricane, and you know, this was a lot of patting each other on the back. I don't know. Alex is a phenomenal sports person who, in baseball, has had a fantastic career. Is a billionaire or has a property portfolio worth $1 billion. I say all this because they're the things I learned. I was struggling to what am I coming away from apart from learning about two incredibly successful brands. Obviously, Dylan's Candy Bar. Again, I don't know, and so maybe this is playing to the US crowd because um, it's one of the go-to brands here in New York. And people were talking about how family, the environment that they create. So again, lots of anecdotal great, we've done this, and Alex was trying to sort of guide us to sort of say, take risks, keep pushing yourselves to keep trying and trying. And I don't know. I didn't really sort of grab anything from there. Lululemon was an interesting one because I think he got grilled by Sarah Ellison. He sat there and he fair play to him, but she grilled him. Um, different categories. What categories are you into? Why did you pull out of beauty? Because he's ex Sephora. Why are you not in kids? Why did you create these brands? And it was like some of the sessions are conversations, but it was definitely obviously Sarah was just like had her questions she wanted to get through, and some of them were a little bit thorny in terms of pushing Calvin. Calvin is a triathlete, an Ironman, so yeah, again you learn a lot about these characters. But he, he pushed it, comparing Lululemon to Apollo, right? In terms of why would I shop with Lululemon? And I thought for a CEO to be put on this his brand versus the brand. Yeah, maybe the Brit was a bit but he did, he said our leggings have higher innovation, better quality. If you had them in your hand, that's why we're better than Apple. I'm not, but that was his perspective. Okay, we're coming to the end of our session. Get the runway, Jennifer. She's fantastic. I am a massive fan of Jennifer. The reason I'm a massive fan, she's obviously disrupted the industry. She is always listening on how to improve the runway and this whole how do I get new customers together. So she went through the process of what they do in their products, what they do with their customers, how do they innovate, how do they reinvent themselves, and how do they stay relevant. And again, I will cover this, do a deep dive, but I've seen her speak 2 times now, and both times I find her inspiring. Yes, I'm not in the market about, I'm not in the market for floral dresses, but for example, she was talking about Rio Fun and how Rio Fun, a Brazilian brand who have stores. I think I covered it in one of my episodes. They have stores in London, New York, and are doing incredibly well in getting a price point in between luxury or Zara and Mango. And I was super surprised. She was talking about Zara and Mango as a shopper. So I thought, here's a connected in the industry, understands her people, understands her customers, and is always looking to improve. So nothing but respect for how she's got back running and what they're doing there. Paxson, so we talked about Gens Alpha, and again, not having Paxson in Europe, I can only comment on, and obviously Paxson's the latest brand, but they play to the youth market. They're very strong in the market. They build their they continue to build their relevance and connections with the market. And said that for example, Focus Group have been doing those for years, but they put signs in the stores for customers to come in and, instead of random folks that sometimes market research firms bring to Focus Group. Um, Brianne was talking about how they take that data, and I was fortunate enough to interview the CIO of Paxson last year or the year before, and social commerce, live shopping, any of these new, like shopping on TikTok or on Instagram, any of these sort of technologies, Paxson was experimenting with and doing it, maybe because they're small, so they can afford to do that, and operating in the US. But again, it was an interesting one, and I'll unpack that. And then we finished off yesterday with Kate. Started on the AI 2001 Space Odyssey, just basically unpacking AI in all of its different aspects. And so, therefore, fan of Kate, you can go to PR, you can look at what she's doing. That she'll do a recap. Yeah, she was on the main stage, and obviously last year when I saw her, she was on the smaller stage. So she definitely plays to the crowd. That does a good job of bringing infotainment sense of, here's a perspective, here's what I see, here's some examples, and tying it into the future, what that looks like in the future. That brings us to a close. I will say thank you for giving me your ears and time, and I look forward to the next time where we can meet. Let me just quickly check for questions. What are the questions? Which event do you like the most? It's like your children, you cannot choose between the events that you like. Between I'll be at Eurosis. I don't find it as great as some of the others because it's an expo. It's not a conference. Yes, they've got stages, but it's the vendors or sellers that are in the talking on the stages, and sometimes, unfortunately, they're just sales pitches. So Eurosys in Frankfurt, and then we have, I think, in February also Retail Week Live in London, which used to be one of my favourite shows, but unfortunately, it's gone from I think it's always been a 2-day show, not a 3-day show. But now it's only one day, which is quite telling in the direction that they're going in, or the conference has been going in for them, and the focus. But maybe it's just the next year they'll go back to a 2-day format. And then we have Talk in March. So let's leave it at that. Thank you so much for the questions. The other questions I'll respond to via in the comments section on each one of those platforms. But thank you to speaking to you very